almost didn't publish it because I was embarrassed with how I looked. And I ended up publishing it anyways. And it was literally the first video to make me over $1 million in my business.
Welcome to our very first episode in AI in Austin. I am your host, Christian Aguilar, and we are kicking this off with an absolute titan. Before we dive in, I want to give a huge thanks for the space. This is a really good space here in Austin and a perfect place to just start the conversation about building the future. So now for our guests, some moments in life, we feel like they're straight out of a movie. For me, one of those moments was walking into Joe Stotti's Prime Elite AI Mastermind. I'm 21, the youngest person in the room by a mile, surrounded by giants. And one of those giants took the time to pull me aside. And he had already built an 8-figure empire before the age of 26, dominated YouTube over a decade, and was pioneering the use of AI in marketing years before it was cool. He saw the look in my eyes, the mix of terror and ambition, and he gave me the advice that has been my North Star since then. Just ride the wave. Today, the wave comes full circle moment. He is the founder of the legendary YouTube ads firm Ad Outreach. He's the mind behind the AI-powered SaaS platform, keywordsearch.com. He's a Forex founder, a ClickFunnels 2, Club X winner for generating over $10 million from a single funnel, and now the author of the game-changing new book, Video Authority. He's not just a mentor, he's proof that a kid with a camcorder can build an empire. Please help me welcome the man, the myth, the legend, the Video Authority himself, Aleric Heck.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Christian. I really appreciate that. I'm excited to be here. And I also want to say it's amazing to see the way that you show up, the energy, the passion, the excitement. And I understand this is the first episode of this podcast, so I'm really honored that you have me on here, and I'm excited to dive in.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it. Clearly, you just released your book, Video Authority, and I just wanted to start it off like you started the book just like talking about just as a kid, like 11 years old, that you started just you uploaded a video, and like walk them through just like the beginning of that.
Yeah. So I started out on YouTube back in 2009.
Yeah.
And actually, I did start on YouTube in 2008. I was 11. I was just dabbling with YouTube, but I started my first channel like when I was 12, like the main channel, App Find, and I was doing app reviews, tech tutorials, teaching people how to use their iPhone for the first time. And the channel ended up growing to over 600,000 subscribers. Obviously, it took a while to get there, but it started to take off. People started to watch the videos, looking to learn how to use their iPhone, looking for the best mobile apps. And this was also kind of during the peak days of mobile apps and things like that, especially in the early to mid 2010s. And that's when I started to see the power of YouTube and YouTube marketing and video marketing. And about a decade ago, and we can dive deeper into this, it's when I got into YouTube ads. And that's when I really built things out from there, was launching Ad Outreach from my college dorm room, and similar to at a similar age to you now, and just riding that wave, and it's been exciting. So I'm happy to dive in wherever you want to kind of go from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was very exciting. Like you spoke at Joe Stotti's event, like that's where we met, and I was in there recording, but I totally missed your talk. I was in the bathroom, and on your way out, that's when we started a conversation, and we just kind of hit it off from there. Like, it really stuck to me. Like I told everyone there, I was the youngest one there, and then you set aside, like I used to be like one of the youngest in one of these rooms. Mm-hmm. So like, walk me through, right? Like what was your experiences, if you could share for the audience?
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that we met there, and like you're saying, it's kind of meant to be. As I was like heading right out, and we see each other in the hallway. I usually do like to stay for some of these events, but that one I had just gotten back from, like, I think I mentioned to you, I had been speaking at 6 events, and because especially with the book coming out, I was on a little bit of a speaking tour. But I was kind of right where you were. You told me that you were, the youngest person in the room. You're absorbing everything, and I could just tell the passion, the energy that you have, which is really great. And I definitely saw myself in you. And I joined my first mastermind when I was 19, and I was a sophomore in college. I had my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel was doing well. So I had that. So actually kind of similar to how you have that like Instagram like video that's done quite well, right? So basically an Instagram page that you're growing. So it's kind of in that spot where I had built an audience, but I hadn't really turned it into a full business yet. And so essentially, I remember getting on a call with one of my early mentors, the guy Taylor, and I got on a call because I'd watched his webinar. And this was back in 2016, and it was talking about how you can build like kind of an online, consulting style business or agency business. And I get on the call, and I share everything that I've done and what I want to build. And he says, "It's great what you've done, but there's so much more you're going to be able to do from here if you surround yourself with the right people and you have the right mentors."
Exactly.
And and then he made an offer for me to invest in that mastermind, or first I did a program, then a mastermind, but then his mastermind. But it was a large sum. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to go in and do it. And he said, if you make this decision, like it's going to change your life, and it really was true. And so I ended up. First, it was a program. It was like an 8-week program that I did with him, and then I invested in his like year-long mastermind. And I was paying more for that mastermind than I was paying for college because I was going to a state school. It's kind of hilarious. But I actually feel like I learned more. No offense to my alma mater, obviously. It's great. But and so I started diving into that. And one of the things that really struck me is I was one of the youngest people in the room. And so it was one of those things where, because I was one of those people in that room, I was able to absorb, see what people were doing, see what was working. And also
this kind of goes into,
Yeah.
I think I know exactly where you're, this part really stuck with me in the book, where you're in the mastermind and you're seeing like, everyone's doing different ads, but like you were doing something completely different. And then people started taking notice in that mastermind.
And exactly. And so that's the thing. I was learning a lot from other people, but what I realized is I had things people wanted to learn from me. And by the way, if you're not already noticing this, you're going to see this as well. You have gifts, and I can see this, and it's uncovering exactly what those are that people are going to want to learn from you. And of course, being curious and growing, but also understanding that you've got gifts to share as well. And so that's one of the things that I realized is, I actually had this talent of running YouTube ads and video marketing, and everybody else was doing Facebook ads, and I was doing YouTube ads, and I was getting better results.
Yeah.
And so people started to ask, well, how are you doing YouTube ads? How is that working? And I was like, oh, I can teach you. I'll show you how to do it. And then I realized that I actually enjoyed teaching and training businesses more than just doing it for them, because I had kind of started out as more of an agency style, and then I shifted into more training and education. And now it's like a hybrid. So it's a cross between an agency and a training, which is also a unique model. So essentially,
when did that transformation happen?
That transformation happened in 2018. So a couple of years after I joined the mastermind, but it evolved over time. And that's the model that we've had ever since. So essentially, the way that it works, and that we work with clients, is we'll come in, we'll help set up the ad campaigns, we'll write the ad scripts, we'll map out the game plan and strategy, we'll help set up the campaigns, and then we'll train somebody on their internal team to know how to run them long term. Both YouTube ads, but also we'll train them on YouTube channel growth, and now also meta video ads, as well as we've expanded into more holistically helping with video marketing.
I see. And I had a certain question that I had in my notes. Let me pull it up. You mentioned if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000.
Yeah.
What made you come up with that? Like, did you hear that from somewhere else, or?
No, so that was one of those things that, now here's what I'll say. I came up with that from my Googling. I don't think other people are really saying it as much, but
Right.
it's not a huge leap. So I don't want to take full, like, I'm not going to say that I'm the only person that have said that, because I assume probably other people may have. But I, thought of that, and I was actually given a speech at an event called Destiny Fest with Giovanni Marsico. Those are really great events. They have some of them out here in Austin as well. Austin and Toronto, they kind of do events in those two places. And I was speaking at an event in Toronto. It's about 2,000 people there. And this was one of the first events that I was told, hey, this is more of a general audience, so we don't want you to give a technical talk, because sometimes I give more of a technical talk. Here's how YouTube ads work. Here's how you can target people. It's like more designed for business owners or marketers to like say, okay, here's how you can run YouTube ads to get more leads and clients. But they're like, all right, this is like 2,000 people are going to be in this room. There's going to be, it's not a technical presentation, right? They had other people. They had Hal Elrod. They had Jim Quick. They had, like a wide variety of like really, really amazing people. So first of all, I was honored to be on that stage, with those other people as well. And then when I got up there, I was trying to think, okay, how can I break this down in a way that is going to be accessible and easily understood by a wide variety of people? I said, picture's worth 1,000 words, video's worth 1,000,000. And that's how I started my talk. And it really resonated with people. And so then I ended up a couple of years ago.
It really resonated with me as well, enough to where I wrote it down. Like it was like, it's definitely a top line from the book. And yeah, also like speaking of video authority, right? Like I texted you this actually, and it really resonated with me because I've been uploading videos for over the past year and seeing like so many people like around me film videos. And we were talking about in the book, you were talking about in the beginning, like authenticity, like how to show up authentic in front of the camera. And I've internalized this, but it just kind of was a really nice reminder. You already are authentic.
Yeah.
And a lot of people need to hear that. Like, who did you write this book for, would you say?
So, I mean, you're honestly a great example of the type of person that I wrote this book for. But really, anybody who knows that they have an expertise, they have some type of skill set, they have, a message or a passion to share with the world, and they're looking for a way to actually be able to do that. And like, you quoted earlier, right, that the video worth 1,000,000 words, right? So, you could write about stuff, and obviously I love like writing a book, and there's different mediums, but I just love video so much because it allows you to get your message out to people. I really think, it's second only to meeting somebody face to face or presenting on stage, but those aren't as scalable, right? You can only meet so many people face to face. You can only speak on so many stages, and not everybody's going to be at every event and every stage. And so video is the most scalable, best way to grow your business. And so if you leverage the power of video, you can get your message out there. You can communicate even things like, a podcast, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The video element of that, the videos that you're doing on Instagram, like it's just such a good medium to get your message out there.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, I just can't wait to study more of this book, like going forward, because not only do you go into like VSLs, how to like come up with your 90-day content plan, like there's just so many elements in this book that's like, this is how you're able, and you even go into like CTR, like different metrics that you can track, KPIs. Like it's honestly like I've for the past year I've consumed a lot of things of like content creation, and like just going through this book, it's like there's so many things to unpack from it. Like it's like, oh, I heard of this, but you're going even more in depth into it. Like it's actually really amazing.
Well, thank you. That really means a lot. I appreciate that.
Who were the most from your career, right? Like there's been many experts to learn from.
Yeah.
Kind of speak on the topic of mentors. Who are your most top mentors, especially in your space?
Yes, I've had a lot of people. There's some people I specifically mention inside of the book in my acknowledgments that have really made a big impact. And I appreciate you kind of giving me the opportunity to kind of share that. The first mentor I had, Taylor Welch, and he's still, a mentor as well. He ran a company, Traffic and Funnels. Now it's The Wealthy Consultant. And he also has a podcast, a spiritual, podcast as well. But he also, has built himself up with a lot of his consulting work as well. And so he was one of my first mentors in the space. Person I was talking about earlier. I first became like a client of his like 9 years ago. And kind of when he was only a year in his business too. And so he's played a big role. Chris Evans was his partner in the past.
Chris
in his
Evans,
first business,
really?
A different Chris Evans.
Oh, different one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That'd be great if I knew the Captain America, Chris Evans. I'd be like, it's America. Let's get,
There's a lot of Chris Evans.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of Chris Evans. So it's a different, I think it's Chris Alan Evans. Anyways, but he was original business partner with Taylor. Not anymore, but he was also great as well. Giovanni Marsico that I mentioned with the Archangel Council. Alex Sharfin has been a big mentor to me. He's here in Austin as well. He had a business, Simple Operations.
Did you make a lot of mentors here in Austin? It sounds like
some here, exactly in Austin as well. So Alex Sharfin, really, amazing. He was actually he's had only a few. You see, he did private mentorship. With Russell Brunson was one of his private mentor clients, and Alex Hermosi was one of his private mentor clients.
Oh, wow.
And then so I'm honored to be in that good company with some of those people that have worked with him. He's just one of a few people that scaled a consulting business to 9 figures, and so which I have not done yet myself. And so
is that unheard of?
It's a rarefied air, right?
Yeah.
So you have people like Tony Robbins that have built it to an even bigger, like $1 billion level. But then you have like the Dean Graziosis, the Proctor Gallagher, so Bob Proctor, Pace Morby. Pace Morby was a client, Proctor Gallagher, client of ours as well. ClickFunnels for that matter. So a few of these are clients, but so I've seen behind the scenes some of these. Those are 9-figure businesses, or potential $1 billion businesses. But basically, it's a rarefied air. Obviously, and actually Alex Hermosi as well, also building at least his portfolio to 9 figures. And Gym Launch up, really big too. And Alex Hermosi is also fantastic too. I got to spend half a day with him back when he lived here in Austin.
You did?
Yeah. He invited.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't actually think I've actually shared.
How
that
was
on the
that?
podcast. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
He is incredibly smart. He is absolutely at the top of his game right now. It's amazing. And he's a super busy guy, so I haven't kept in as good touch. He's always moving forward really fast. But it was a few years ago, and we kind of jammed on different things, and that was also earlier stages of his YouTube channel. So he was asking a couple things, and then I was asking obviously about investing and acquisition and some of the stuff that he had been doing.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool. Yeah, he's an amazing. Him and Layla's also. She is super smart as well.
You got to spend time around both of them?
Yeah, both of them. More with Alex, but then Layla was there for a part of it as well. It's a shame he moved out of Austin.
Yeah,
it would have been great to continue.
He's over there in Las
Vegas. Now in Vegas. I know.
Yeah.
I have to go to his office at some point. Would be cool. But I know people who have gone and absolutely have loved it. So, anyways, but yeah. So to be clear with him, that was more of just spending a smaller period of time.
Overall, though,
really
there's been a lot of people here in Austin that you've been able to meet that are just very influential.
Oh yeah,
and they're are experts in their own kind of way. And video has really allowed for their expertise to be able to expand. I mean, you go into this topic in your book. And even beyond that, your mission. I wrote it down here. You have a mission of to empower entrepreneurs to amplify their message, expand their impact, and turn viewers into lifelong raving fan clients. And I really love that mission. It just speaks that's exactly what I want to do in my own life. And so I just love how you put that all together.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's an exciting thing. And I think the thing that I'll say too, just on the mentorship and the mission side and some of these other areas is that really it's just with, raising kids. It's the same thing with which I don't have an experience around that, but you hear that it takes a village. It's the same thing with a business. You kind of think about it like a kid. It takes a village. It takes an entrepreneurial kind of area. So I don't have the experience on the family side yet. It's one day. But on the business side, I do really have experience with that and having a variety of different mentors, different people that I've leaned on. One other person I'll say too is my aunt and my late uncle, my aunt Siobhan and Steve Scully. They were my entrepreneurial aunt and uncle who also really inspired me as well. And they were one of my first clients with, they had a math board game called Tivots. And then they basically had a mobile app kind of companion with that, and we ran YouTube ads for their app as one of our early clients. And so anyway, so I'll also kind of add them in there too. But yeah, again, there's just so many people that have made a big impact. And that's also why I love.
It's never just one person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and countless books. I can't label all the books that
Yeah,
I've
of
read,
course.
but like,
Yeah.
and that's also why I'm excited, with my own book as well. Obviously, I love video, but I like that, the books are such a great medium to put all the pieces together. And so I think that's the thing is that just surround yourself, go be in masterminds, find mentors, and you're not necessarily going to have, because I had this misconception when I was younger that you'd have one mentor like forever. And actually,
I'm a flaw at that.
yeah, and you may, but you might also know which ones they are. And like I said, I think Taylor's been a mentor of mine for a long time, but I've had a lot of mentors that come and go in different seasons. But during that season, they have made a massive impact, and I think that's a really interesting thing to look at as well, and to embrace that.
That's very insightful because I am in a journey right now where I'm meeting many centimillionaires, billionaires. Like it's overwhelming. It's very overwhelming. But at the same time, people want to pour into you. You're the young guy, just like, oh, he's curious, he's learning, and actually like taking action on the things that I get. Like that's the biggest thing. You can be around these guys, but like the ones that really respect you are the ones like when they give you advice and you actually go and do something with it. Because then they're gonna be like, oh, he went and did something with it. I can give him something else and see what he does. Was that your experience as well with that?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I was able to work one-on-one with Alec Sharfin too, at a time where he wasn't really taking on that many one-on-one clients, is because I actually implemented his advice. He would give me advice and I would implement it. And he's worked with a lot of really amazing people. And that was one of the things that he told me is the fact that he saw me do that is what made him want to actually work deeper with me. Because at that point, and you invest into that, but like, at that point, it wasn't about that to him. He wants to work with the people he wants to work with and the people that are actually going to take action. And I've seen that firsthand too. That's also why I'm here right now with you as well. I mean, I get invited and I get invited to a lot of different podcasts, and and at this stage, by default, my assistant, this is valuable for you to know. Like my assistant, like if the podcast ratings on like iTunes, if there's like less than 50 5-star reviews, or not 5-star, but like 50 reviews, it's probably not as big of a podcast, and I just don't have as much time or bandwidth to do it.
Yeah, of course.
But I would do it as, like, hey, I want to come on your podcast and to support you, right? And really and also support the audience that you have here as well. And one of the reasons that I want to do that is because of how you show up, who you are, and you're not just somebody that's passionate and excited, but you also want to implement and you take action, which I appreciate and value.
Thank you so much. That's going to sit. This is the first episode. So
hey, there we go. We'll start it off. With a bang.
But one thing I did want to get into with you is, I mean, clearly you're uploading. You pop up on my feed, like on Instagram all the time, and you're telling everyone about these AI tools, like what you're doing. It's super awesome, like seeing it pop up on my feed. Like, and recently the way this podcast officially happened, we went to Internet Marketing Party.
Yes.
And that's where we started talking a little bit about AI. And I mean, the podcast called AI in Austin, right? And so like, I want to go into like, I think we started talking about madness and like how the things you're kind of seeing and doing. Like, yeah, share about like what you're currently seeing with AI.
Yeah. So, and I know you're doing a lot with Manus. I'm doing a lot with Gemini and Google's AI. And obviously ChatGPT and Manus and Claude, those are all phenomenal as well. I've gone really deep into Gemini and Google, especially with Google VO3, with AI ad hooks and videos. What's really interesting that we're seeing on that side, I'm also building a couple of my own softwares too, which I'll talk about in a second. But what's really interesting that we're seeing with videos, AI videos, is we ran a study because we were working with a variety of different like clients, and we wanted to see how will AI videos affect the performance of ads. So we created AI only ads. We tested that against ads with no AI, our controls that we've been running for a long time. And then we tested ads that have AI at the beginning, the first like 8 seconds. So those little 8-second like clips like VO3, Sora, and then it cuts into a human talking ad. Which one do you think performed the best?
The AI ones?
So
The
actually,
the
the
talking
AI only with no human in it was the worst performer.
Okay.
The
Okay.
second best, kind of the average, was the no AI, the control. The best was AI hook at the beginning, followed by a human. And why do you think that is? Well, the reason for that, I believe, now we're entering hypothesis. So that's the results. The hypothesis is the AI hook captures attention. AI is great at capturing attention. So think me walking down a medieval street, and I basically say, if you're not using AI in your marketing, you're practically living in medieval times. And it's like me, I've got a little YouTube logo, but it's like me as like a king walking down a medieval street. It's AI generated. There's also me like as an astronaut. You want to skyrocket leads and sales for your business. I'll show you how you do that using AI, video ads, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a few other types. There's also me as like a Lego man, all this stuff. That captures attention. Then it cuts into me, human, talking, like the regular version of me, talking head, diving into, okay, here's how you can use the power of video and diving into all of that. And then it cuts into the call to action. The reason I think that performs better is the AI captures attention better, but a video of yourself, more natural, recorded, actually builds trust.
Yes.
And converts.
Yep, exactly.
And you have both in that video.
Wow. Wow, so you could start automating your hooks, like and pretty trusting it,
and test a variety of different hooks using AI.
Yeah, and you can. And this is your theory as of now, but like more data, we could actually see like that's breaking. Like that is really like, wow. Okay, and so what else are you seeing?
Yeah. Well, so that's one big thing. And then when it comes to targeting your ads, what we're seeing is that AI ad targeting is really where things are going. So there's different ways. So AI ad targeting.
Oh,
so
Alpha AI targeting.
Alpha AI.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where, now, again, as I say in the book, certain things I want to teach more principles because things are going to evolve over time. And so I actually like direct to more resources. As you know, we were talking about that. Because anytime you talk about AI, it could change in, a month, right? And so I talk about more principles in the book, but then, the things that we do.
Yeah, you mentioned I'll try to able to like make this as a, what's the right wording? Make it everlasting.
Yeah, evergreen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everlasting, evergreen. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So essentially, what we're seeing with AI ad targeting is you can target people based on, what they're interested in. So what they're looking at on YouTube, on Google, the search terms that they're doing, what they're interested in based on audience, like in-market audiences, websites that they're going to. But you actually build what are called custom audiences to target people with these YouTube ads. So in the past, it used to be more content-based targeting, pre-built audiences. So Google has an audience, people in the market for advertising.
Yeah.
It's so broad. Versus you can actually build your own audience and train YouTube and Google's AI. So it was funny, I was recording an ad in a Waymo at one point. I was in the back of a Waymo and I recorded an ad. I'm like, what does this Waymo have to do with, what does this self-driving car have to do with YouTube ads? They're both powered by Google's AI. You see, Google owns Waymo that makes these self-driving cars. But Google also owns YouTube, and they've injected AI into their advertising. So if Google can create a car that can drive itself, do you think it could help you reach more of your ideal clients? Absolutely.
Wow.
That ad like crushed it too. That was a good ad.
How long you been running that ad?
For a while. It's not there's ad cycles. The ad is not performing as well as it did when we first launched it. We have some AI ad hooks that are doing better. But yeah, we ran that ad.
How are YouTube ads compared to Meta ads?
So that's the thing. What we're seeing is that YouTube ads are just outperforming. The reason for that is because they're intent based. And by the way, we work with a lot of like expert coaches, consultants, and also software, things like that. So it is like a specific area that it's more intent based. On Meta, if you think about it, people are just kind of mindlessly scrolling. They're like, oh, I'm kind of interested in that, I might buy it.
Yeah.
Versus on YouTube, people are actually searching. They're actually looking up what it is that you do.
Right.
So if somebody is trying to figure out, how to grow and market their business, or they're trying to figure out like whatever it is that you're trying to educate people on, you can reach them at the time that they have intent with a YouTube ad. Yeah.
And you also mentioned, because for me, I've been uploading on Instagram, like a bit on TikTok, but like you actually mentioned you should be starting with YouTube specifically. And I'm trying to recall, but like you mentioned something quite like interesting about that. Like why should you start with YouTube?
Well, YouTube is the only platform that's actually an asset. Why is YouTube one of the a long-term asset? I mean to say, all platforms are great, but in terms of a long-term sellable asset, why is YouTube the only platform that actually is a sellable asset? People sell YouTube channels for millions of dollars. YouTube channels like exchange hands. Private equity is buying YouTube channels. Why? It's all true. You can look it up. There's articles on it. Why does that happen? The back catalog. YouTube's the only platform where you post a video today, it could get views a year from now, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now. Because it's not just about the algorithm, it's also about videos that pop up based on search intent. So if you have a right video with the right title, the right thumbnail, which by the way, I got to talk about our AI thumbnail tool in a second, our thumbnail creator. But if you have the right packaging for the video, you're going to be able to get people, to kind of come in and consistently watch. Versus you post a video on TikTok or Instagram, you may actually get more views up front than YouTube. So the thing is, it looks like, so that's why people say, oh, YouTube might be harder, right? But that video is going to die out in a day, a week, if it goes viral, maybe a month. On YouTube, the video can be getting views far into the future.
Years in the future.
I have videos on my original channel, AppFind, that I filmed a decade ago that are still getting views and earning me revenue today. I created a video on the original Apple Watch. And that video, I have to check the stats, but the last time I checked, was still earning me around $7 or $8 a day in residual income from a video I made a decade ago. And it's getting like a few hundred views a day. Now the video is kind of outdated, but hey, I mean, I'm not going to knock it. People still watch because millions of views, and it's like the Apple Watch Complete Beginner's Guide, and it's not completely outdated. It has things that people need to know, and people still find it valuable. But it's still it's still having people watch it. It's still earning me ad revenue every single day, a decade later.
Aleric, because of you, I am going to focus more on YouTube this year.
I love it.
Just because of you.
And the podcast's a great place to start.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is, wow. I knew that, but I hadn't seen it from that perspective. And now, like when was that video, those videos, when did you start? Like 2012, 2011?
2009.
2009.
With those videos. That video is probably... that video is probably like maybe 2012, 2013, 2014. Because that was the original Apple Watch. It actually probably was 2015. I don't know.
Something like that. You almost didn't upload that video.
Oh, so the ad video, yes. So there's a different video now we're talking about. There's a different video. So that was a YouTube channel video. There's an ad for my main business that I almost didn't upload. So I filmed the ad, and I was a little self-conscious. At the time, I was about 50 pounds, heavier. I wasn't like, I was kind of self-conscious with like how I looked.
And that's why I relate to you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. And that's the thing. It's like, I almost didn't publish the video. And I was so focused on the time at business and stuff like that. And so like, I was kind of more behind the scenes with other people doing, their ads. But this was one of my first ads that I did myself and I recorded myself. So this is about 7 years ago. And I remember I had the video and I hit all the right notes, the hook, educate, call to action, all the components of an ad, but I almost didn't publish it because I was embarrassed with how I looked. And I ended up publishing it anyways. And it was literally the first video to make me over $1 million in my business.
No. Just imagine on the other side, like there was thoughts going through your head in those moments that were holding you back, and it's just like, and I'm sure many people can relate to this, where it's like they have those thoughts, and it's just like they're listening to, they shouldn't be listening to that voice. They shouldn't be listening to others. I was talking to one of my mentors recently, and like, why are we like, most people that made it successful didn't listen to those people that like were holding them back. They have to trust their gut and like just not care. Wouldn't you say?
Exactly. That's the thing, is you're going to have these thoughts that are just like really holding you back. and you have to realize that they're limiting beliefs. The other thing is the entrepreneur's mindset is you win or learn.
Yep.
So, basically, in everything that you do, it's either a success or you can learn from it and turn it into a future success. And learning is winning.
Yeah.
And I'd even argue, right, like a mistake. So I don't like to call it failure. I like to call it, a mistake that you learn from is even more valuable than a success you don't learn from.
Yep.
Right? Because if you don't learn from a success, you can't repeat it. Now, obviously, the most valuable, what we all want, is successes we learn from, and we can repeat it.
Yeah.
If it's a success, let's do it again. But mistakes that you learn from, you learn what not to do. You learn to make a change, right? Edison's 1,000 light bulbs as an example. The other thing is Theodore Roosevelt has a quote, which is, in any moment of decision, the best decision you can make is the right one. The second best is the wrong one. The worst decision is to do nothing.
Exactly.
And that's the biggest thing that gets people, is it's not actually, this is crazy, it's not actually making the wrong decision. It's not making a decision. Or it's making the wrong decision and continuing to make that decision and not course correcting when they realize it's wrong.
So my mentor just gave me this framework, and it's really, really well. Like, I love it. We all have to make decisions, and it's just like, you make this decision and you, with pure confidence, go in that direction and then take massive action in that direction. And then 90 days later, look up, because we need to, should I still be heading in this direction? Yes, continue going.
Mm-hmm.
If not, new direction. And that is like such a massive, it really relates to what you're talking
It's
about.
exactly aligned with this. Exactly aligned with this. And that's the other thing is, like, when you make a decision, you commit, you go all in. You're not like, should I have made that decision? No, you go all in.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to put your head up and you say, did I go the right way?
Exactly.
Let me check, my compass here. Oh, and where, or check the map and just make sure I'm heading in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and like with your business, you're running ad outreach and then the software company, correct? Like, how are you guys, how are you internally using AI within your business?
It's a great question. So I'll talk about within ad outreach, and then I'll talk about the software, as I think is a great way to kind of tee that up. So essentially within our business ourselves, is we're looking at all the different ways that we can leverage AI to increase the productivity of our team. I think the thing is, you can really tell, like, the people that are glass half full or half empty people based on how they're looking at AI, right? Are they looking at AI as like, oh, AI is going to basically take all these jobs? It's like, so some people look at AI, they're like, all right, if my company is doing this and we have, the company's doing this output with this many people, they say, okay, well, then you're going to lose people because you're going to do this output with this many people, and then they fire all these people. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I just take these people and then do all this work and this output?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
With AI. So it's like glass half full. Like, if you can 10x your business's productivity, or more realistically, maybe double or triple, your output with your existing team, why not double or triple your business? Why are you cutting costs to do the same thing?
Exactly.
It makes no sense to me. So that argument, it doesn't really make as much sense. And so that's what I say with those people. And so that's what we're doing, is we're adding AI in all the different areas that we can. I'm really encouraging the team. Everyone in my team has Gemini. We're all in on Google. I'm a huge, Google, person. But also, team members have access to ChatGPT and Claude in different ways. Actually, I'll say that real quick, because I think that there's a values, like, the different platforms do different things really well. I found that Gemini is really great at, like, actually being able to execute, create images, create videos, to do research really in depth. ChatGPT I found is a really good, kind of bouncing sounding board, and more of like an assistant. Like, it has more context and memory. Claude I found is the best writer. So Claude is really good at writing. So Gemini is like image generation, research, video generation. ChatGPT is like, hey, I'm thinking about this, kind of like a sounding board, and kind of more of an assistant, and then and like kind of second brain. And then Claude is it's the best at, like, creating marketing copy, like writing and things like that. So we use different platforms for different things.
That is very insightful. Yeah, and speaking to many business owners, they're all kind of along those lines. But yeah, many, like, they're like, what we do at AI for Teams, like, we help train businesses into able to implement AI into their business. But we're not for the mission of firing people. We're for the mission of keeping your same employees and like you said, double or tripling your revenue, keeping the same employees. Because that's exactly what AI is allowing your team to do, able to make them amplify them and truly like just automate different things. Like, and I want to, you're speaking of the like Gemini, Claude, like all of these things, right? Like, have you played around with Manus? Like,
So that's after our conversation. I'm going to be diving a little bit deeper because I did, but it was months ago. And my understanding is they're constantly improving.
Yes, and they just got acquired by
Yes,
Meta. Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, and like we're seeing some very like cool stuff with Manus, like because you're able to connect all of those APIs to Manus.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT, Nano Banana, Google Drive, your CRM, like all of these stuffs you can connect to Manus. And beyond that, the results you get. So this is very interesting. How many employees have you had in ad outreach?
So we got about like 26, 25, 26, yeah.
So you have at least of a skill set of hiring and training people. So AI is only as good than as how you train it, like an employee. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting to see that like people are like, oh, I tried it and it's like it wasn't that great. Well, really, what's saying is you don't like who's actually good at delegation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The more you put into it, you're going to get more out of it. 100%. And that's also where we're building our own AI tool. So I think it's a good segue to talk about that. And I've got a couple tools. I'll spend a little bit more time talking about the one that's probably more relevant to a lot of people here.
Yeah.
One is I've had for a while, which is keywordsearch.com. It does AI ad targeting for YouTube and Google ads. People just put in their URL of their site. It'll find all the different things people are searching for on YouTube, searching for on Google, websites they might be going to, YouTube channels they might be watching, apps they might have on their phone. They can then select which ones they want, and in one click, sync it to Google Ads as an audience that you can target. And so that's a companion to what we built. I built the software that I wished I had. And I'm like, all right, I'll just build it. And now I'm not the developer, just to clarify. I've got a CTO and a partner, and then also dev team, which kind of built that side of it. But to actually build something like that was pretty powerful. Then on the other side, so that's keywordsearch.com. The other side is like I'm really excited about is thumbnailcreator.com. And this software is growing really rapidly. I told you about this?
Is it A/B testing or?
So what it does is it creates AI generated YouTube thumbnails. And the power feature, and we've trained it on all of our best thumbnail data, exactly what makes a great thumbnail. And the way that you could do it is you paste the unlisted link of a YouTube video. It will scan the video. No prompts. It does it with no prompts. So you just paste the unlisted link of a YouTube video. It'll scan the video. You only train it on your face once. You could also, if you have a podcast, you can have your guest on there.
You made a video about this,
yes,
right?
I did.
I saw this, yeah.
And then it will generate 3 to 10 thumbnail variations automatically, and then you can split test those variations using AI. You can also edit it with AI just by describing it in plain English.
I am getting this today.
Well, thank you.
That is awesome.
Creator, yeah, thumbnailcreator.com.
Thumbnailcreator.com. Wow. Isn't this so amazing? Like what AI is allowing us to just create. Like, one of my biggest goals this year is to get AI in front of true experts and just create a mastermind of learning from each other. Like, what are the cool things you guys? Like, you guys are the experts in your field, ads, Facebook, whatever. Like, just you guys are the experts. But put AI in front of them and get to learn from all different business owners. You just get to get creativity. Mm-hmm. And like, that is, like, AI is allowing for the first time in, I think, the industrial age, like, people just became like, people are able to be creative now, like, truly creative with AI. That is powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's exactly, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting what's possible.
We have to kind of, there's the other side where people are very fearful of AI. Mm-hmm. There's obviously that side, but what do you have to say on that side?
So I think it's like the glass half full versus half empty. And I think that also which is basically it can increase your productivity, but there's always going to be a natural change that happens. And so I think that it's having to learn to adapt to that change. And that's part of the human experience, right? It's like we're talking about AI, but like part of the human experience is needing to adapt at different periods of time.
Yeah, exactly.
And as things evolve, things change, you have to embrace that and adapt and see it as like, hey, like I'm excited to learn and see what I can do. I think the other thing too is that yes, job displacement is real. However, I don't necessarily think at the massive scale people are worried about, because you could have said the same thing about computers,
Exactly.
right? You could have said the same thing, about automobiles, right? Like back in the day, right? Like and the Industrial Revolution, like all these different things. It's like, oh wow, the output's massively higher, but we don't need this career anymore. And it's like, yeah, there's gonna be some hurt and displacement for a period of time for the people that are trained in that area. And it is important to treat that with care. However, overall, it's going to create new opportunities, new jobs. And honestly, maybe it even ushers in a new like renaissance where maybe there's not as many people that need to do the type of work that we're used to. Maybe there's more artists, more creators, more podcasts, more, things like that. Content creators, right? Like, it might be a shift in that direction. That being said, I think that if we actually look at the data, it does show that jobs are shifting out of things, but overall, there still is a strong, job market.
Yeah.
And also, we might get to a spot which kind of goes back to where more and more people are entrepreneurs and they're kind of like operating for themselves and they build a thing. And, maybe AI is a lot of their team and maybe they have a few team members, but, like gigantic corporations being disrupted, some of these different, like obviously there's a lot of talk about, drivers and things like that because there's a lot of population that's drivers. And again, I think that we should be tactful in how we're transitioning people and supporting them through that. But I do think that we'll come out the other side really well. It's really interesting, and I'm paraphrasing, but there was an article that I read with a thought leader talking about, and they kind of quoted history that like basically every generation there's a new technology that comes along, and they kind of showcase some of it. Internet, the computer, printing press, industrial revolution, automobile. There's some technology that comes along that people simultaneously say this is going to eliminate and destroy jobs and create like joblessness. And also this is going to usher in a new utopia, so we'll never have to work again. And neither is 100% true. It's basically the world adapts. There's a period of disruption where there are big winners and there are some losers. But then the world adapts and now there's just new jobs and careers. And then in the future, there's a new thing or a new evolution, because you could argue that AI is just the latest evolution of computers, then internet, then AI.
Yeah, so where I learned that one of the first books that I read was Walter Isaacson's biography by Elon Musk biography by Walter Isaacson. That book really gave me perspective of like when he went into the dot-com era and ultimately just like he could have went to what was it, Stanford, I believe. He was going to get his master's, and then instead he went all in on Zip2, took the bet, and then that's the dot-com era, and we know what he did from there. And I was over the past year, I was telling a lot of like millionaire business owners that I've been meeting, and they were kind of shutting the idea of like, oh, AI, like that's the next thing. And then now it's like over time, like, no, I think I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like interesting how you say that. And it's interesting because I'm actually using AI right now to go through. I prep for this podcast, and the last thing that I have on here is passing on the torch. It has a visual. So if you have to give advice to the next young gun,
Okay.
what would that be?
Yeah. So I think the best advice that I would give is really to go all in on what you're passionate about and be a curious learner, lifelong learner. And I think that's something that you exemplify really well, genuinely. And I think that that's something that I would really encourage everybody to be able to do, especially if you're watching this and you're looking to build something you're excited and eager. Go in, like basically there's so much information and knowledge. And so reading the books, watching the videos, listening to the podcasts, and experimenting yourself. And now AI is a sounding board and to dive in, like there's so many possibilities. and I know it's such cliche advice, but it really is true, is to be a lifelong learner, to be curious, and to go in on the thing you're passionate about. Now, that might not be your main thing, but it should at least be your side thing. It should be the thing that you're passionate about, because that could turn into an even bigger thing.
Well, it's been really great having Aleric here, especially for the first episode. I think I did better than I expected.
Fantastic.
So, Aleric, I really appreciate you being on especially for my first episode, and really looking forward to what I'm able to do, what people are able to do from just the knowledge exchanged here. I think it's very valuable. Do you think we gave them very valuable things through this episode?
Well, yeah, I definitely think it was awesome, and I really appreciate you and the way that you show up and ask great questions, and yeah, hopefully everybody watching finds it valuable.
Yeah, and if they want to find more about you, like obviously you have your book that just got out, like where could they reach out to you?
Yeah, so the book is videoauthoritybook.com, so you can go and take a look at that. The AI YouTube thumbnail creation software is thumbnailcreator.com, and then adoutreach.com is my main company where we help with YouTube ads and video marketing. And then of course you can look me up, Aleric Heck, on any of the major social media channels.
Awesome. And if you guys are looking for a podcast where you guys want to learn about AI, how businesses are just using AI in their business, stay tuned for the rest of the year of 2026, because we are just getting started. AI in Austin to the moon. See you guys on the next episode.